Hey everyone, Chance with Cross Grain Woodcraft here. As promised on my Facebook page, I'm going to give a hopefully relatively short video of the process so far on these arch top walnut doors that I'm working on for our house. Once we get that going, they'll be the entry doors. So started off a week and a half ago with breaking down, and these are some of what's left, but breaking down about 5 or so crotch grain walnut slabs. They were about 8 foot long, 2 feet wide at the narrow end and close to 3 at the top end. And so I broke those down into usable planks that I could move, for one, because they were quite heavy. I couldn't hardly move them around as they were, but needed some straight edges to work with. So went ahead, just a circular saw on a straight edge to break all of that down. And at that point, I went ahead, because I wanted to control all the grain direction of stuff, I resawed them essentially into book match sets that then I then laminated into my work pieces for all the rails and the stiles of the door. That took quite a few days because of lack of clamps, and just there's a lot of work that went into that. I also wanted these doors to be thick. So basically I've ended up at about 2 5/8 inches thick, which is a fair amount over standard for a door, but that's okay. That's what we wanted. To then prep for since it's going to be arch top, I needed all my arches to be the same. I made a pattern. I started with a full length piece just of 3/4 inch AC pine ply. I cut it to my width because I wanted 2 parallel straight edges to work with, and I needed that to stay so that my doors were square once I get them done. So I had that piece, and then I also, to get the full shape of the arch, I used this piece here, just another piece of plywood, but full length sheet of plywood. I mounted my handheld router on one end with just a 1/4 inch bit, and on the other end, since my shop has plywood floors, I was able to screw it straight down into the floor, lay a full sheet of plywood out at the router end, and use that to get my radius and have a perfect arc. So what resulted is this pattern piece. So I have both the inside and the outside arc that match, which was, I thought, the easiest way to get a good cut, versus I could have done this with a jigsaw, laid out my line and tried to cut it, but thought this was going to give me a much better result, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So I used these pieces to make my rails, the arch rails, my pattern there. So then when I came to actually cutting those out, I could get the exact same shape in every one. And since this piece has 2 parallel, again, edges, that's going to allow me to line everything up and keep things nice and square. Once all that was done, I had my pieces, my laminates glued up for the rails and the stiles. Another reason for the lamination was because a couple of the pieces, as you break down full slabs, sometimes they tend to, you can get some bows, you can get some bends, some twists, but laminating it allowed me to control all of that to get good, straight, flat planks that I will then turn into the door. So after all that was done, got all my glue ups done, I used my patterns to trace out my arches, cut off most of the excess with bandsaw right up to the line, and then just used a flush trim router bit to follow the inlaid, essentially, arch pattern. And as of right now, this is where I sit. They are coming along nicely. I'm really happy with how everything is. All the pieces are going to fit well. I am getting ready to, since I'm going to mortise, I did cut off or design the tenons, get those cut in. All these stink bugs around here are insane. There's a good look at how the tenons look for going into the rails, or the stiles, sorry. And I'm getting ready to square these off, so I'll put a straight, a perpendicular edge compared to this, because going in, cutting them out is a lot easier if we have perpendicular holes as opposed to angled. And that's where I am at currently. Oh, also, here we go. I glued up my bottom panels, and again, the book matching was what I was going after. So these are not small because the doors aren't small, but I will end up with bottom panels that are also matched. I got some epoxy to fill in some of those small little cracks and grain lines. But these things are each, I can't even hardly get in the picture. These things are each about 30 inches by 24 currently. I think I'm gonna end up needing a little bit more height on them, so I'm gonna glue on another piece at the bottom. And then we'll get to fitting everything together. So hopefully that explains a little bit how I've gone about this. It's a big project for sure, but it's nice to be doing something for our house as we get going on it. So the full size of the doors, once they're done, will have they will be a full 84 inches wide and then just under 96 tall. So they will be a large set of doors, which will be nice. I'm working on getting some hardware ordered for them soon. We'll be getting some glass made to fit, and then also talking to someone about getting the ironwork done on the grills for the outside. So we're really excited to get it all done. That's where we sit currently. I'll do an update again later.